Hey everyone, my guest today is Kenny Dupar. Colonel Kenny is a goofball by leadership style and has figured out the war in Iraq to his scoundrelly satisfaction. His second novel is a gearhead pinup doll love story where COVID is the bad guy, mostly. His YouTube videos include Curious Carl and the Man with the Big Yellow Hat, Japanese poetry called Kenniku, dating advice, big kid parodies, and military advice like how to poop at nighttime. Retired from construction and soldiering, living in East Tennessee, Kenny is working on his next novel set 20,000 to 10,000 years ago when cosmic forces and evil space aliens caused God to shake Earth's Etch-a-Sketch and other high weirdness. He uses humor to balance descriptions of really traumatic stuff. Welcome, Kenny. Would you like to tell us about it sounds like you have two books and your most recent one that you have out?
Yes, my second novel is called Pinup Dolls and Classic Cars, a COVID love story. And I was shocked that I actually wrote a love story. It only took me 50 years to write my first novel. And after I was done, and it was just, pushing that rock uphill, I'm like, I can't just be a one and done. I got to do something else. And so I started going to car shows, and I saw pinup dolls at the car shows, like with the nose art from World War II, the pinup models from the 50s and
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
And so there are pinup clubs, and it's a thing. It really is a thing. And it was just spread out in front of me, gearheads and pinup dolls. I had a cast of characters right in front of me. And so I started writing about them and their relationships and what's going on. And then COVID hit. And I'm like, well, this is going to really interrupt everybody's lives. And so I incorporated it within the novel. It's not what the novel is about, but the characters have to deal with the circumstances. So I take the reader back about 2/3 of the way back to winter of 2020 when it actually COVID became a thing, and we started learning about it, and then it goes for about 6 months after that, and it's important to me that we talk about what happened during COVID. So, I mean, there's a catchphrase, so that it'll never happen again, right?
Right.
Okay, so it'll never happen again. Every time that something tragic happens, well, we got to do something that never happens again.
Yeah.
And if it's still fresh in our memories, then it's important to capture the information while you still can remember it. What was your experience like? Were you furloughed?
So I'm lucky that I was in Iowa for COVID. We didn't have that strict of lockdowns or anything like that. But I had gone back to school um at the age of 30, and I was so excited to graduate college, and of course my graduation was supposed to be May 2020. And I just wanted my grandma to see one big life thing. And of course, like, we couldn't go to our own graduation. Um, Basically, we're told we're gonna leave for spring break and not come back. And I still worked. I was working at a restaurant at the time, and we were allowed to stay open, but I was also doing volunteer work at the Botanical Center on campus, and I was told I can't come back for my volunteer work, which is fine. But it just really ruined that. And then, FedEx was needing drivers so bad, so I stayed working. I started working for FedEx too. So I was still able to get out and about for the most part, got dirty looks if I wasn't wearing a mask or whatever sometimes, but just it wasn't great. And then my grandpa actually passed away February 2020. And when I heard about what everybody was going through with the nursing homes and not being able to visit your loved ones, it was almost
Hmm.
like uh, I'm glad it happened when not that I'm glad that he passed, but I'm glad we didn't have to go through that, where we weren't allowed to visit our loved ones even if they were dying type thing. So,
There was a nursing home in Seattle land. That's where I was living. Um,
okay.
I uh, Last year I moved to East Tennessee,
Okay.
Knoxville. Thank God. Oh, it's so much
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, I
But the
bet.
Pacific Northwest is just there's a mountain of stupid everywhere that you want to look.
Mhm.
But there was a nursing home in Kirkland, Washington, that became like an epicenter, and because the virus presented itself as the flu, right?
Mhm.
No one knew that it was any different than anything else, and
Yeah.
so they allowed people to come and go. They knew that they had a problem, but they weren't restricting access.
Uh-huh.
And as things built up, yeah, you ended up having, let's go see grandma at the assisted living. We're going to
Yeah.
wave at her through the windows.
Right.
And it just, that was a very sad tale. I think I have a little
Yeah.
blurb in there. Actually, one of the characters had a parent that was dying.
Mhm.
And yeah, so one of the many um, terrible things that occurred through COVID. Um, you were working at a restaurant, you said?
Mhm. Yep.
Okay, so
Yeah.
when did you start getting a feeling that this was complete horseshit? Because
The
we
minute.
would go to restaurants and you have to have a mask on
Mhm.
in order to be seated. And then as soon as you were seated, this magical bubble came around your table.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you could take your mask off, and it's like, wait a minute, this doesn't make any sense. I
Yeah.
mean, uh, in Seattle, they were so happy to start shutting down churches.
Mhm.
And that just made the politicians gleeful.
Yeah.
Uh, I myself was furloughed. I was not a essential worker,
Uh-huh. Okay.
because I was working as a general contractor or for a
Oh.
general contractor.
Yeah.
If you had contracts with the government, you became essential.
Yeah.
So you could keep on going. But I was furloughed.
Yeah.
Um, but it didn't make any sense, like the 6 foot spacing in
Right.
between in between
Right.
people. So where are you people getting this stuff from?
Yeah. Well, and then we find out he just made it up. Like they just well, I think, So, did you ever notice that like Walmarts, they'd have the 6-foot spacing, but then they would be like, "Oh, they would limit your entry and exit to like 1 point," and it's like, so you're just making people walk closer as they walk in and out. You're not preventing the spread by limiting the exits and entrances. It's the dumbest thing.
Yeah,
Um,
there was a phrase that they called flattening the curve,
yes. Yeah,
and a big part of that had to do with they didn't want to just come out and tell you, hey, this is an airborne illness. We're all going to get it.
right.
We're all going to be exposed to it. There's no way you can prevent it
Right.
from happening. Um,
Yeah.
the masks were like trying to stop a mosquito from flying through a chain link fence. It doesn't do any
Exactly.
good, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so there were but half of the people in this country just simply don't want to face facts that we were just we were just handed just an immense amount of baloney. And I mean,
Mhm.
we were the only country in the world that shut down the schools for a year.
Yeah.
The only
So,
one.
it when I was in school for science, and so while they're describing all of this, I'm like, okay, so now I'm supposed to forget that everything that I've learned about herd immunity, about
Right.
about how viruses work. Like, so my a teachers that are telling me one thing one day suddenly are saying something different. Like, oh, I know I taught you that, but this is what? It's what? Is it? It's not different. The government's telling you to say this or wants you to say this, whatever. You're being pressured to say this, and it's not true. Like, that's not how this virus works. And they, like, I had access to scientific reports that you usually have to pay for since I was a student, and I found the hydroxychloroquine. Everyone was bashing Trump because he was talking about how it was useful, and oh, he has no basis for that. Well, there's not only one coronavirus out there. There are several more, and in scientific studies, it was shown that hydroxychloroquine was effective in treating those coronaviruses. So he had science to back him up. But like, if I posted that or anything, it would no one would see it. It would get like shadow banned or whatever, or it would just get pulled off of social media
Oh,
in
really?
general. Yeah,
You actually had what platform were you using where you actually got shadow
Facebook,
banned? On
Facebook.
Facebook?
Mhm.
Yeah, and then
Yep.
and then Zuckerberg came out years later and said, "Hey, the government put the arm on us to clamp down on this."
Mhm.
So, one of the things that's so remarkable is that how quickly our government officials wanted to clamp down and um, restrict
Mhm.
our constitutional rights, such as speech.
Yep.
But the thing about it is that the people who were running the CDC and Fauci and those people,
Mhm.
they were big vaccine people, and
Yeah.
they were raised, or they started their careers during the AIDS epidemic, and so they
Mhm.
were so focused on, we need a vaccine, we need a vaccine, we got to do that, we got to do that, that they completely blew off the preventive measures.
Yeah.
Like, maybe you need more vitamin B. They came out and said that you need sunlight. You need,
Yes. Yeah.
and it gets repressed, and how quickly through media, any dissenting voice just gets squashed.
Mhm.
And now
Yep.
RFK is bringing people into the government, into his agency, that had been, trod underfoot just a
Yeah.
few years ago. So I am now like a big RFK fan. I hope that guy
Yeah.
does remarkable things, you know?
Yep. Yeah. I also did not like the vaccine part, that it wasn't, it wasn't tested. Like, they didn't go
Right.
through the FDA trials. I think a lot of these were human rights violations. The whole thing. The way that we were just expected to give up our rights for something that turns out to be nothing like what the government was describing it. If someone wants the vaccine, that's fine. That's Get it, whatever. But when you don't know if what the long-term effects are of those, like, there's so cats, I used to be a vet tech. So cats can develop a rhabdomyosarcoma, which is an injection site tumor. And oh, it's rare, but it just so happens that my cat had it. My friend, who is also a vet tech, had it. So did they get a bad batch of vaccines? What is it? And they don't show up for years after their injection. So eh, cats are mammals. We are mammals. I am very against having to take a vaccine that hasn't gone through the proper trials. There could be things popping up, and we are starting to see health reports that people are having issues from taking the vaccines, and it's just terrible.
When the vaccines were coming out, first of all, the mRNA,
Mhm.
the Pfizer and Moderna, was that what it
Uh-huh.
was?
Was it that or Johnson& and Johnson?
Well, Johnson and Johnson had a old-fashioned vaccine,
Okay.
and so I ended up getting that. But,
Yeah.
of course, I had to wait because old fat white guys, we were at the bottom of the list, you know?
Right.
I was working on at a Google campus in,
Oh.
Kirkland. It's in Seattle land.
Uh-huh.
So, it's Seattle, so there's Facebook and, Microsoft and all the
Mhm.
big tech companies and what have you.
Yeah.
They jumped on board immediately, and you had to wear your face mask and all like that. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it was just like overnight, we were gonna restrict your travel.
Mhm.
If you leave the state of Washington, you come back, you gotta quarantine for 2 weeks. Just making stuff up.
Yeah.
And it was how was it in Iowa? Because in Washington State, I we were like the last state in the country to for the governor to pull his emergency, authority, you know?
Okay.
Was Iowa real restrictive? I know Tennessee probably wasn't so much.
Mm-mm.
Wisconsin wasn't.
Really?
Yeah,
Um, Iowa was not like I said, I'm thankful I was in Iowa for this. You know, it was a lot of it was left up to the discretion of the business owner on what they were going to require people to do. Like for FedEx, I had to have my temperature taken. I will say a lot of employers, yeah. Well, and then it's winter time and I'm trying to register like it was like a forehead reader and I'm coming in from the
yeah.
cold and it like I can't get in the building until I rub my forehead and warm it up enough for it to even register to get, you know.
I was running a job site, okay, and I
Mhm.
got the additional duty of being like a COVID monitor, whatever they called it,
Uh-huh.
and so everybody who came into work that day, I had to go, take their
Yeah.
temperature off their forehead,
Yeah.
and it was just like, there's so much stupid going on, it almost hurts your soul. The
Yeah.
average, it would be like if you were 93 degrees, okay, that's good, you're normal, okay,
Right.
and just it was just Kenny, go over there and hand sanitize the handle to the porta john. Okay, well, this is okay. Yeah, you're paying me whatever to,
Right. Right.
and it was just stupid on top of stupid. But uh, the characters in my book were able to go through these things
Uh-huh.
and, like forgetting how many times did you get out of your vehicle to go to pop into the convenience store and you forgot your mask? And then you'd swear, and then you have to go back to your car and get your mask, which was pointless.
Yeah.
Or like one of the characters in the book like to throw house parties
Uh-huh.
and had to be careful because maybe your neighbors are going to rat you out and say
Right.
that you've got um m- uh, a super spreader
Uh-huh.
event, you know. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you shut down the churches, but if there was a Black Lives Matter protest in
Mhm.
downtown Seattle, well, that's no big deal. I mean, go ahead
Right.
and do your thing.
Right.
So there's
Yeah.
hypocrisy left and right, but the speed that it happened and the consequence. I mean, do you have any members of your family that were going through that were in school, like in high school or something like that, during this time?
Yes, my nephew, well, actually 2 nephews and a niece, and several of them actually, and as I think about it, yeah, so, um, the schoolwork, like, I remember they didn't really care if you did my homework, and so my
Right.
youngest nephew in school at the time was like, "I didn't finish all my assignments, but I'm doing better than everybody in my class, so I guess I'm proud of myself."
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad you're trying harder than other students, but it didn't matter, you know? They
Those kids just got so robbed
Mhm. Yeah.
from and just to talk about just putting them back, and we knew that kids were not spreading. Or no, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We knew that kids, young people were not
Right.
susceptible to the virus, and they weren't getting sick, you know?
Right. Right. Yeah.
But the thing that always really grated upon me is when they started shutting the schools down, they said, "Well, we're gonna give every kid a laptop."
Mm.
I'm like, okay, well, what about the special needs kids?
Right.
How are you going to have? There was not a peep about what was going to happen with the special needs kids. My heart just went out to them. I'm like, these kids can't sit in front of a computer screen for even a short period of time. What are you
Right.
going to do? And well, this is just a casualty. We're just going to, yeah,
Yeah.
well, whatever.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
casually that you know, and for, well, okay, here's a humorous thing from the book.
Uh-huh.
Um, the two main characters, the fella is trying to date,
Uh-huh.
and it was the first time in 100 years that a guy could not take a girl to a dinner and a movie. They shut down the theaters.
Right.
And it was like,
Right.
what are you
What do you
doing to
do?
me? What am I
Yeah.
supposed to do? How am I supposed to how am I supposed to
Yeah.
spend time with a pretty girl? Well, you can take her to the park. They shut down the golf courses. Okay?
That's which is wild too. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
you would see people, you would hear stories of people, family in the park, and
Mhm.
someone doesn't like the fact that they don't have masks on, so they'd call the cops and they get kicked out of the
Yeah.
park.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Seattle land was full of that stuff. And
I can't imagine. I can't imagine. I had a lady at Walmart. I was probably a full car row, if not a car row and a half away from her. Sh She's masked up, her son is, her husband is, and she's looking back and like, "I don't even know why we're wearing this if nobody else is gonna wear them because I wasn't wearing one, I didn't have to at the time, um, and it's like, "Okay, but you've got" she had, like, a TV in her shopping cart. Why, if she's so scared of COVID, why did she go to Walmart with her son and her husband to go get a non-essential item? They weren't groceries. So, just send your husband to go get the TV. If it's why did you have to bring all 3 out if you're really that concerned? None of it made sense.
none of it made sense. Um, I have a question on the back blurb of my book about
Huh.
what are we going to hoard for next time?
Yeah.
Because you couldn't get toilet paper. People were
Yeah.
hoarding toilet paper, and you
Mhm.
couldn't get a haircut. You couldn't buy hair cutting scissors. Do you remember
Yeah.
any particular items that it was just people were just snapping off the shelves? Do you remember?
Um, it mostly just the toilet paper and then the flushable wipes, and I feel like oh, baby formula was a problem,
That's
um,
yeah.
and then, like, pop or something stupid, you know? "Okay, we're gonna hoard pop, sounds good," you know? Did you remember anything other than toilet paper?
Well, you couldn't get masks. It was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
so okay, so Kenny, go to the Home Depot, get as much
Mhm.
get as many dust masks as you can. This was when
Yeah,
really early on. Okay, so I go to Home Depot, and of course they've got nothing,
yeah,
because people are like, well, where can we get these masks? Besides the fact they weren't going to really do anything.
right.
And
Yeah.
so, as I don't want you to think less of me for this, but it kind of keys you into my personality.
Uh-huh.
That in protest,
Yeah.
I went to the grocery store and I bought a bunch of women's underwear, and I
Right.
modified them and I started using them because they're like, well, just use a baklava. Well,
Oh,
what difference
yeah,
does it make? It's like, if you
yeah,
people want to do stupid, I'll do stupid
yeah,
even
yeah.
better than you.
Yeah, they
And
they really didn't care what you were covering your mouth with, and I
right.
just think it was such a sign of submission, to be
Yes.
I
Yes.
didn't
And that's the thing that really gnaws on you,
mhm,
is that just and I think this is just human nature. There's a certain element of human nature where telling people what to do and be able to control what other people are doing.
mhm,
There are some folks that just get intoxicated by this
yeah,
power.
yeah,
And when you're the one who's grinding through it, like,
mhm,
okay, if I don't get the jab, I can't work. I can't work. No work,
yeah,
no pay. No pay, I can't
yeah,
feed my family. You're taking bread off the table type of thing.
yeah,
And so there was coercion everywhere that you looked, you know?
yeah. So I also worked at CVS during this time too, because it was kind of a I had friends that were at FedEx and CVS, and they were shorthanded because of COVID. And so CVS, I got a religious exemption to not have to take the vaccine.
Really?
Our governor Kim Reynolds, she passed something where it does not matter. Um, Employers had to accept whatever exemption we filled out. I could have written anything down, and I luckily had timed my hire date and everything just right with that because I was not going to take it. Um, so I was the one unvaccinated person in the building. I had to wear an N95 mask the entire time. I had to test twice a week. And this was a facility where we just filled nursing home and assisted living prescriptions. So we did not have customers. We were only around the people we worked with who were all vaccinated. Yet somehow I got COVID. And which I wouldn't have even known. I worked out, went to work, tested kind of positive. My boss was like, I mean, you seem fine. And then 2 days later, I tested again and it was positive. Would not have even known. But I thought people were getting vaccinated to protect the people around them. And that you also, like that was the whole thing too, was they were, well, it's your responsibility to protect yourself and protect others and blah, blah, blah. It's like, hey, one of you vaccinated people gave me COVID. So,
It's
but
an airborne illness. It's everywhere.
yeah, right.
Uh, did you end up getting the jab?
No,
You
no.
never did.
No, and again, I was lucky because I was in Iowa and they left it up to the employers basically. So,
Wow. You're one of the you're one of the few, I suppose.
yes. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
ended up going through a high school. I went to a school to get the J&J. My fiance said, "Hey, let's go. We're going." And
Mhm.
you never even get out of your car. They just give you the jab right through the window,
Yeah.
type of thing. But they're coming out now and saying that the more boosters that you get, the more susceptible you are.
Mhm.
My sister has gotten, you know, both of the preliminary jabs, and she's gotten all the boosters, and she's had COVID 4 or 5 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got it in January of 2020 when the whole thing began. I had a sore throat for 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and that was it. I had no idea. I'm just maybe I got a champion immune system or what have you, but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. I will say the cold that I'm just getting over right now is much worse than what COVID was, which I do say. So I know I've had it twice. And the first time I lost my sense of taste and smell. But what you were saying about the daylight, it was October 2020, and I had a bunch of bulbs to dig up. So I was outside doing gardening, and I felt so much better out in the daylight while I had COVID, and then I'd come inside and just kind of crash. And then the quinine, I don't know if you heard about that, like the tonic water, it has quinine in it. And I
mhm.
drink that every time I'm sick, and I do think that helps. But again, and I did get out of breath, but I also have POTS, which so going upstairs gets, whether I'm walking or running upstairs, I get out of breath anyways. But so I think COVID maybe was worse for me re- the first time with my respiratory stuff, but the second time I didn't even know I had it, and I wouldn't have known. And again, it wasn't as bad as like the cold that I just had. So it's
Yeah. I mean, there's so many examples. I also used in the book, um, one of the characters has a friend that
Mhm.
dies in a motorcycle wreck,
Mhm.
and they test everybody. And this happened to my father. He died during this time as well.
Okay.
Where the bottom line is that if you were in the hospital
Yeah.
and you passed away, they would test you for COVID. And no matter
Yeah.
what reason why you died, if you were positive for COVID, you died of COVID.
Yeah.
And so the numbers are so skewed that I heard RFK say that the United States has a population of under 5% of Earth's population, but we had
Mhm.
20% of the deaths.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense at all. In We had more deaths in America than the entire continent of Africa, who
Yeah.
was like who were dishing out hydroxychloroquine, like aspirin, right?
Mhm.
And I remember being told, well, the countries in Africa, they don't have as a robust medical infrastructure.
Yeah.
But
Right.
how is it that, oh, okay, so is it greed? Is that what it is? That the hospitals can make 3 times as much money off of somebody if they died of COVID? So where does the
Yeah.
corruption end? And
Yeah.
I'm surprised after 5 years that people aren't, you know, scratching at the door to talk about this stuff because,
Yeah.
um, what are we gonna do next time?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be living in Tennessee,
Yeah.
okay?
Do you do you think it depends on who's president? Like, I
Um,
I don't know. I know that's a theory. I personally kind of felt like it was to tank the rest of Trump's presidency, but and the reason I say that is I've seen bird flu, I've seen swine flu, I've seen Ebola, like all those outbreaks, and they shut down airports, whatever, no big deal. But for some reason, they made a huge deal out of COVID-19. So,
maybe,
what do you think
maybe
about
that
that? Too
maybe
far
there's
into
a
conspiracy theory land,
well,
or
there is the orange man bad syndrome
Mhm.
where, if if Trump were to come out and say that Mars is the closest planet to the Earth, they'll say, "No, you're not. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, no, it isn't. Night follows day. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have to. No." So you got the orange man bad thing,
Mhm.
but Mike Pence was the COVID czar or whatever they were calling him.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't do a damn thing.
No.
And this reliance on experts, so called,
Mhm.
it's like, oh, I'm an expert in whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
so what you're saying is gospel. We cannot challenge, you know.
Right.
Um and so we ceded authority to people who did not have our best interests in mind. I mean,
Mhm.
they call themselves scientists, but they
Yeah.
were willing to not use proper scientific method.
Yeah. Do
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Where do you think this came from? What's
The
your
Where did COVID come from?
Yeah, the
The
virus, huh?
the lab.
The lab.
Yeah, in China, where they were doing the gain of function research.
I have a
That's
chapter in
where
my
I think
book
it came from.
I have a chapter in my book called Gain of Function,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have anything really to do with it. I just wanted to use the phrase so
Uh-huh.
that people would have to think about it for a moment. Um, I can prove that the virus never came from, was it a paraquin or some sort of weird
Pangolin.
Chinese
Yeah.
penguin or whatever the hell the damn
Yeah.
thing is.
Yeah.
Okay. They have never produced an animal that has this virus.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it has the markers, the geneticists can actually, they put markers on their bad creations.
Mhm.
So we know it was made in the lab,
Yeah.
and we know, I think what happened was that the Chinese military was developing a vaccine so they could make a weapon for
Mhm.
um uh biological warfare.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's say that you wanted to invade Taiwan, and if you had a vaccine for this flu, you
Uh-huh.
could give it to all of your soldiers
Yeah.
before the invasion, and then you release it upon the population, and now they're too weak to offer resistance. I mean,
Mhm.
that may have been the military strategy, but then they find out, well, hey, Fauci was giving you guys $10 million that here. It's like, how much worse can it be? You know,
I hope he gets prosecuted for something. Did you ever do you remember when he was all into the AIDS epidemic and making it sound like you could just make he was making AIDS sound like if you're around somebody with AIDS, you can catch it. Like you didn't want to he was making it sound like it was much more dangerous than it was. And I
I
think he
I
likes to do that.
I know that the people that were calling the shots were they began their careers fighting AIDS, and so
Mhm.
they just got into the mindset that the vaccines were, the worst thing possible.
Uh-huh.
But, or I'm sorry, the vaccines was the only answer,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know? But, yeah, whether or not he ever gets prosecuted,
I'm not holding out hope for it, but it would I would be happy if he did. You know? I'm not expecting it to happen, but he should
mm,
be, I think. Of course, at the same time, I don't know if we necessarily had to do everything that he was suggesting we do either as far you
well,
know?
look how easily they shut down the schools.
Mhm.
He makes some minor, suggestions, what have you,
Yeah.
and, um, I'm sorry to have to say this, but the teachers unions just said, "This is fantastic. Let's just shut everything down,"
Right.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that was, the way people react to things are a little over the top a lot of times, but
Yeah, and of course the um one of the characters in my book
Mhm.
has a compromised immune system. And so spoiler alert, she has to split. And so it's another huge hurdle for the two main characters. And one of the blurbs is, well, will COVID kill a romance type of a thing because it
Uh-huh.
was so difficult. People had to separate themselves from loved ones.
Yeah.
Or how about the fact that you have families that were cooped up together,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
now you're like
Excuse me.
the domestic violence ticked up
Yeah.
too, because
Yeah.
all of a sudden it's like, dad's at home, doesn't know when he's going to get back to work.
Yeah.
Everybody's schedule is derailed, and
Yep.
you're just getting on each other's nerves.
Yep.
It's like being
Yeah.
quarantined was, oh my gosh, that's a punishment in and of itself.
Yeah. I remember when the schools did start opening back up here, um, I was talking to a teacher's aide, and there was a student who just wasn't at school for weeks, and they're like, "Well, he might have COVID, he might," but I remember them being very worried that this kid was maybe being abused at home, like, maybe wasn't okay. But because of what they were doing with COVID, it just let these kids who were being mistreated at home be stuck at home. So they might not get their meals that they were getting at school, or they might get abused worse. And that, that's terrible also.
Isn't that the argument that educators often have, as far as they taking care of children and having their best interests at heart? We're going to make a safe space here at school,
Mhm.
and we're going to feed them well, give them good nutrition if they're not getting it at home.
Mhm.
But then once there was the opportunity to teach from home, or let me put it this way, the value of a society, or the worth of a society,
Mhm.
is how people sacrifice and risk for preceding generations, right?
Yeah.
But in this case of COVID in the United States, it was reversed. It was like, no, I'm not going to take the risk. You know, you keep
Yeah.
your kids at home. It's
Yeah.
not worth that the teachers could risk getting sick. It's no. And so it was like, very, what's the phrase I want to use? Very self-centered, you
Mhm.
know? And maybe that's got something to do with it, because there seems to be two camps.
Yeah.
The people who um, saw that w- wearing a mask was useless, and this was useless, and that policy was useless, and this didn't make any sense, and on it goes.
Mm,
And the other half of the country that is perfectly fine. It's
yeah.
not something that and I can't explain it. I don't know
Yeah.
what do you think? Why are we not even talking about it? I mean, it's been a couple years.
I I mean, I do think because there are still people wearing masks out there now, and I think that some people are more prone to believe everything that they hear on TV. Some people are more prone to just listen to what they're told instead of critically think about an issue. And I think that for a lot of people, it's easier to just do what you're told. And then a lot of people just fall into the the scare factor, and that is what the news wants to do, is scare you. They never say anything positive on the news. Even our local news is just, you know, so I don't want to say that those people are weak-minded, but I don't know what else to call it. Um, and as far as why we aren't talking about it, or why others aren't talking about it, I do think that as far as publicly discussing it, people are still getting censored. You still can't use the word vaccine on a lot of different platforms without getting flagged. Um, as much as they say that they're fighting against that, I think it's still an issue. Like TikTok, everyone's still saying jab or using a different word because they'll just pull your stuff down immediately if you say a word that they think is inappropriate, and then you've got to fight them to get the video back up, and they're, oh no, never mind, you didn't violate any rules, but you just say one word and they'll pull you down. um so I think that people are avoiding the topic simply because they think that they will get deplatformed or demonetized.
Yeah, more coercion.
Hmm. Yeah.
Well,
And I
as far as the news is concerned, there's the phrase, "If it bleeds, it leads." And so, yeah, they want to be dramatic. They want to
Mhm.
talk about the number of deaths and things
Yeah.
like that. I would love to see. I think that the number of deaths were very much inflated
Mhm.
because the data kind of shows that, you know, it doesn't make any sense how we could have had some, leading the world in COVID deaths
Yeah.
with all these policies. I would like to see someone, if you were to take a look at the number of people who died of heart disease, for
Mhm.
example, going back 10 years, it's going to be a number that's not really going to fluctuate that much.
Uh-huh.
But from the years of like 2020 through 2023, how many people died of heart disease and all these other um, uh, morbidities, if you would,
Mhm.
that weren't counted because they had COVID? Like I
Right.
said before, if you when you died, if you had COVID, you died of COVID.
Yeah. Yes, and I have a friend who's a doctor, and she was trying to explain, like, well, it's just a comorbidity, blah blah blah. Like this person who died in this motorcycle accident, like his comorbidity was COVID. No, he died from the motorcycle accident. For one, why did you even test him for COVID after he passed? What does it matter? He passed from the motorcycle accident. Because that happened here too, or someone who died in a car accident. And why is it being reported at all? That's not what killed him. It wasn't COVID. So, but I do know that some were getting kickbacks for how many positive COVID patients you had. So they almost wanted their patients to have COVID, which is terrible.
Yeah, I remember early on, do you remember why they were really freaked out about the respirators? Do you remember that? Trump actually
Um,
sent hospital ships to Los Angeles and whatnot, um, they were trying to flatten the curve because they were
Yeah.
worried that hospitals would not be able to handle the number of
Mhm.
cases. And
Yeah.
so that sort of made sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but healthy people weren't dying.
Yeah.
You know, there was such a
Yeah.
huge spread. There was in the Russian flu
Mhm.
of what 19 well during the First World War, 1918, 1919, there were people that would come down with symptoms and be dead by the end of the day.
Yeah.
People in their 20s, you know?
Right.
So with this one, if you had those comorbidities, yeah, you would be in trouble. But if you were a
Yeah.
healthy adult, okay,
Yeah.
maybe you're gonna have the worst flu you've ever had in your life.
Yeah.
But then that
Yep.
was it, and you should have, immunity after that. It's
Yep.
like, oh yeah, I remember now that there was a flu in the 1890s
Mhm.
that killed millions of people across the world, and now we call it the common cold
Oh,
because
okay.
we have immunity over it.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you had the Spanish flu in the 19 teens that killed
Mhm.
more people than everyone in World War One. And then Trump starts talking about the China
Yeah.
virus.
Yeah.
And oh no, you can't say that.
Right.
That's
Right.
disrespectful to the people who are trying to kill us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like
Yet the other ones were
it's
fine. Yeah.
Sam, are we living in a bizarro world?
Yeah.
I mean,
Did it? Yes, we
how
are.
quickly can this all go to pot? You
Yeah.
know, um, and speaking of pot, when they started shutting things down
Uh-huh.
one after another, the Walmarts of the world, of course, CVS, the big
Yeah.
chains, they stayed open, but the
Right.
little stores, you know, those are the ones that they really threw the screws to.
Yep.
Um, but in Washington State, there were so many restaurants that went out of business,
Mhm.
and in that kind of business, it doesn't take a whole lot. The margins are very, very small. So what about all the people who lost their livelihoods permanently
Right.
because of that? And I remember when it was first starting up, I'm like, if they close the liquor stores and the pot shops, okay, there's going to be
Yeah.
riots everywhere, and
Yeah. Yeah.
that's going to include me. I don't know if I can't get my six pack, okay,
Yeah.
I'm throwing something
Full
through
blast.
somebody's window. I don't care because I'm going to be pissed off. And
Yeah.
I think that the people in the ivory towers were like, we mustn't let the peasants
Yeah.
we mustn't
Yeah.
let the peasants revolt.
Yeah.
The peasants are revolting. Well, then give them liquor,
Right. Right.
you
Al
know, just
Also,
enough.
like, places were giving out, like,
We will
free
bring you
donuts.
food to your apartment. Just don't leave.
Right. Right. That's
And at the same time, I was trying to date, and I
Yeah.
actually was successful, which was bizarre. Um,
Yeah. Yep.
Have
That's,
have you ever read 1984, George Orwell?
No, and I need
It's
to, but I have
short.
not read it. Oh, is
Have you?
it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen the movie?
No. No.
Do yourself a favor and um he's got his two most famous works are Animal Farm and
Read that.
1982. Did I say that right? 1982.
84?
Um, and you can get both books in one, but they're short reads,
Oh,
maybe
okay.
150, 175 pages.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it's so eerie because Orwell was writing in the 30s, I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah.
and the minister of he was working for the Ministry of Information, and so you got
Mhm.
the doublespeak, the Orwellian doublespeak. So
Yeah.
the Department of Justice was really the people that were unjust, that type of a
Okay.
thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I would recommend it because the the world that he depicts, we kind of fell into,
Yeah.
and um, But how is it that the rest of the world didn't do these things,
Right.
you know?
I I'm really surprised that more people didn't fight against it. And it's
You
also hard.
couldn't.
Right. It's
What are
also
you
hard
gonna
when you're the only when there's not very many people trying to, like, take a stand, like, "No, I'm not wearing this to go grocery shopping. I'm not wearing this mask," or whatever, but, um, it almost wasn't worth fighting it because it wouldn't have,
Well,
you know
I remember in the state of Washington,
Mhm.
Governor Jay Inslee, well, he would get on TV and he would say, "We're gonna follow the science. The science, we're gonna follow the science."
Yeah.
That was his favorite phrase. And they would try to shut down, if someone got a burr under their saddle, like, okay, well, this tavern over here
Mhm.
or this bakery selling cupcakes won't shut down. So
Right.
we're going to give them a fine of $10,000 a day until they shut down, and just
Right.
and just ruin people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of that Orwellian thing is we're the government. We're here we're here for you. We
Mhm.
want your tax dollars, but you're going to do exactly what we say. Otherwise, we will ruin you.
Right.
And I mean, I was working as I was working construction. I was a foreman, and you you could not go onto a Google campus unless you had the jab. You
Yeah.
couldn't. You had to have you had to present a vaccine card,
Mhm.
you know,
Yeah.
every once in a while. So what were you gonna do?
Right.
How are you supposed to get on the airplane?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
I mean, everything just came tumbling down right off the bat. So um yeah, so in my novel,
Mhm.
the characters kind of claw their way out of it. There's some sad things because of course there's people who pass away and whatnot. That's actually
Yeah.
that's actually in the front of the book, which was a literary thing that I did.
Yeah.
Do you like to read?
Yes. Yeah.
You do.
Yes. Yep.
Um, that's great. I wrote a love story, Sam. It's
Yeah.
amazing. I can't believe
Yeah.
my
Do you
first
have
book.
do you have your book next to you? You haven't even said the name of your book.
Here we go. Pinup
Nice.
dolls and classic cars. I'll send you a
Perfect.
copy if you'd like.
Yeah. Yeah, I will read
Um,
I can also buy it too. It's
no, I will autograph it for you. I
perfect.
also did
Good.
I narrated the audiobooks as
Oh, okay.
well.
Yeah. Yep.
But so yeah, so
Yeah.
gearheads
I love that.
and pinup dolls, right?
Uh-huh.
There's a symbiotic relationship, like the
Mhm.
sucker fish on the whale type of thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That's true.
But
Yeah.
the gearheads spend a lot of time and money
Mhm.
on automotive projects. Either they're going to
Mhm.
restore a car to like factory, or they're just going to make their own creation. And
Yeah.
they go to car shows. There's competition. There's camaraderie, and they put just an enormous amount of energy, artistic and otherwise, into making their muscle car. Right.
Mhm.
Well, what do they want? They want their picture they want their baby to be photographed. And what's
Yeah.
better than to have a pretty girl in
Yes.
front
Yes.
of your muscle car, right? It's
Yep.
pure Americana.
Yep.
Well, the pinup dolls, which most of the main characters are doing pinup, they create an alter ego and they give
Okay.
them, Serenity Jade,
Yeah.
or another uh, fun character was Misdemeanor. You got to watch
Okay.
out. You got to watch out for Misdemeanor. She'll eat you up. Um, Donna Diva and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they also have projects. They're making an alter ego.
Uh-huh.
They're working on getting up in front of large groups of people, you know,
Yeah.
presenting themselves out there. There's competition, there's expense. And what do they want? They want to get their picture taken.
Right.
Well, what's better than
Yep.
getting your picture taken in front of a muscle car?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all of a sudden it becomes like
Yeah.
peas and carrots. right?
Yeah.
The gearheads want the pinups, and the pinups need the gearheads, and boom, there you go.
Yeah.
It's like I said before, instant cast of characters, and they go about trying to, working on their relationships, finding
Mhm.
someone, breaking up with people. There's kids involved and all like that,
Uh-huh.
and there was a whole nother theme as far as parental alienation is concerned.
Okay.
People can use their children like weapons, and I
Yeah.
find it to be very common.
Yeah.
It's like World War III,
Yeah.
but for our purposes, that isn't really a subject or a theme for this. But
Mhm.
yeah, all of a sudden, you can't go to. They canceled the car shows. It's
Right. Right.
outside. It's
Yeah.
outside. You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
and so there's so many disruptions. But
Mhm.
I started. I took the opportunity. I'm like, life sucks. Uh, my girlfriend left. She took her dog. The lease is up. I lost my job. Yeah, I'm living a country song. I'm living
Yeah.
a I'm
Yeah.
living a country
Yeah.
song, and it's like I've never been depressed, but holy crap, if one more bad thing happens, I don't know.
Right. Right.
Um,
Yeah.
and so I could feel for the characters because
Mhm.
I made one of the characters a hairdresser or a stylist.
Oh,
Well,
right.
she was out of. I mean, her character was out of work for months.
Yeah.
Do you remember how
Unless it was
how
Nancy
long you went
Pelosi.
without a haircut?
It I cut my own hair, so,
Okay.
um but don't you go, like, 3 I don't know, I guess I don't know how often you go, but yeah, I in hair dyes, I remember a lot of people are using, like, the box hair dyes and stuff like that for yeah.
Yes, because they were shutting because they didn't want to have that intimate contact,
Mhm.
so to speak. So, um, how many other examples? I was just thinking about physical therapy. What
Yeah.
about the disruptions in the medical community where they were delaying surgeries? Because
Yes. Yeah.
you
They
know, and it just
yeah.
goes on and on. It's like one crappy thing after another. It's
Mhm.
it's just like a house of cards all collapsing because they
Yeah.
started off with a premise of bullshit,
Yeah.
of lies.
Yeah.
We're gonna believe what the Chinese communists are telling us. Uh-huh.
Right.
Okay, yeah,
Right.
because they're our friends, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
But I'm just concerned that something like this will happen again, so I wanted to memorialize the
Yeah.
ramifications. Not just that, people are dying prematurely, but,
Mhm.
if you can't have a house party without worrying about your neighbor calling the cops
Right.
on you because you're a super spreader
Yeah.
event. And of course, the Christians, you want to shut us down? No problem. We'll comply. Christians are the most compliant people that you ever,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. Go ahead. Just all the Christians get on the truck. We're taking you to a spa. Don't
Right.
worry, you don't need your luggage. We'll send that ahead. Don't worry about it. Just get on the truck. And
Yeah.
and Christians would do it. Okay, we must submit to the civil authority.
Yeah.
Okay. And then they
Do
open them
you
back up and we got mass on and we're singing our songs about Jesus. I'm like, oh my Lord, Jesus is weeping right now because we sound so bad. You're
Yeah.
singing with masks on, people?
Yeah. D All the TV shows where people were wearing masks and they're all muffled, it's like, "Why? Why are we doing this?" That's the other thing. That's the other thing I hated, like, you just want to escape COVID, yet every TV show had to put COVID as a problem in their show, It's just like, I don't know. It's in your face all the
They
time.
they shut down. Talk about bizarro world. Well, I didn't know how long we might go today because once you start providing these
I know.
examples, it's like one. So
Yeah.
okay, so
Mhm.
they wouldn't let people go to baseball games, right?
Yeah.
But in order to fake the crowd, they put faces where the people were sitting, but they made
Yes.
the heads really big, right?
Yes.
And they
Yeah.
would show all these heads of people in the stands at the baseball game.
Mhm.
It was like, oh man, it just
So weird. Yeah. The band
how
players.
Yeah. Well, then you had like like professional athletes being quarantined in their hotel rooms.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even they had their freedoms restricted, even
Right.
though that they're privileged,
Yeah.
rich people. They're famous, right? They're basketball players, but you can't leave your hotel.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember, I cannot remember, I think it's called, like, the Beringer or something. It's basically over 10,000 scientists signed this thing, um, to fight against our COVID mandates, and it was in favor of herd immunity. Like, this is the appropriate way to do it, and then all these scientists got, like, discredited, and do you
Oh,
remember
sure.
seeing that at all?
Um, in general, yes. I don't remember the name that you
Yeah.
use,
Yeah.
but oh yeah, I mean the medical establishment these days is really whacked.
Mhm.
Really, really, really whacked.
Yeah.
The scientific journals
Yeah.
aren't worth the paper that they're printed on these days. There's the
Right.
orthodoxy, and you either fall in line with it, or we will ruin you. We will take your medical license away. You
Yeah.
know, again, it's the hammer will fall, and that hammer was always, we're going to take away your livelihood. We will
Mhm.
take away your professional credentials. The
Yep.
credentialing boards from universities in this country have an awesome amount of power.
Yeah.
They determine who are going to be the the doctors, if you would. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, it was I felt like, going to school for science, I had to kind of just, like, pretend, like, "Okay, we'll just go along with this," just to get somewhere because you can't argue with your professors on things,
He-
if you wanna
here
graduate.
here's a disturbing thought. Right? Let's say you lived in a society, let's say Germany in the 1930s,
Mhm.
and you have, now maybe it's not a very good comparison. However, there are people within those societies, well, all of a sudden, they go along to get along,
Yeah.
and maybe it's not my demographic that's being persecuted, but somehow they went along with it.
Mhm.
They were compliant. They were complicit. Some joined in, like it's fun. Like this is like we're you know informants, like East Germany during the Cold War, right?
Right.
One out of every three people was informing on their neighbors. And there's something about human nature, and I can't really put my finger on it, how quickly it can devolve
Mhm.
into a totalitarian. You will do this, and you will, be grateful for your government overlords.
Right.
But now I'm
Mm.
sounding like a nut, well, I
Right,
am,
yeah.
but
It's yeah, yeah. It's so my thing was, like, obviously, like, if I'm sick, I'm not visiting my grandma right now. I don't wanna get her sick. I do not understand why it was just fine to quarantine everybody. Why couldn't the people who are at risk quarantine and everybody else live their lives? You know? I it but again, you'd have to kinda recognize herd immunity too, but then the virus would have been weaker, if we kind of spread it around, whatever, by the time it hit those people that are more at risk, because it has weakened over time, it's had less of an effect, you know?
well,
But that would make too much sense, I suppose? I don't
they stopped at some point. They stopped broadcasting the number of
Mhm.
deaths.
Yeah,
Maybe they did that because they started. I don't know. I mean, maybe it just got down to a reasonable number
yeah,
to certain people.
yeah,
Um, but another thing that occurred was when they put when we were on lockdown,
mhm,
I got a check one day from President Trump. The Donald sent
Mhm.
me a check for like a thousand
Mhm.
dollars. Do you remember that? Or $1,200?
Yes, 1,200, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. That was
yeah,
fantastic. Unfortunately, the repercussion of all of that was the government was printing money like it was going out of style.
yeah, yeah,
And so the debt went
yeah,
from, I don't know, 25, 26 trillion dollars to over
mhm,
30 in just a very short period of time
yeah,
because you were just paying people just to sit on the couch,
yeah,
not be productive. So the gross national product fell and all this type of stuff. So just
yeah,
massive ramifications. And then, oh, okay. So then a few years later, we got inflation up to 8, 9%.
right.
And it's like, well, yeah, because you were printing money.
Yeah,
Why were you
yeah,
printing money? Well, we were printing money so we could pay people to stay at home
yep,
because we were telling them that that was a safe thing to do when, once again, it's an airborne virus. Okay.
yeah,
We're all going to be exposed to it, but it was ignored. And
yeah,
so now, I mean, you got to laugh at some point, like laughing at someone who's driving their car by themselves with a mask on.
yeah,
I've seen people with a mask on running.
yes, yep, mowing their lawn, I see that all the time, like, you're the only one in your yard. It's yeah,
And isn't there something where, when you have a mask on, you're rebreathing what you've
yeah,
exhaled, okay?
mhm,
And the human mouth is like a garbage can,
yeah,
right? And so you're
yeah,
rebreathing all of the bacteriological gunk plus
yeah,
the carbon dioxide. It's like,
yep,
do you think that that is a I cannot imagine wearing a mask. If I had to wear a mask for the rest of my life, I don't know what I'd do. I go live in the Arctic Circle or
yeah,
something. I just
yeah, I I don't know, it's hard, like, I have allergy issues, so then just restricting my breathing at all was just it was tough. I will say I was a huge pain in the ass about wearing masks, and luckily, being in Iowa, it wasn't really that big of a problem to escape it, except for when I worked at CVS, but
where in
yeah.
Iowa?
So I'm in a small town, it's Denver, Iowa. Um, it's by Waterloo. I don't know if you know where Waterloo is.
Waterloo, yeah.
Yeah.
When I first deployed, it was out of a unit out of Dubuque,
Oh,
but
okay.
but
Yeah.
there were uh, companies in Waterloo and various
Mhm.
places. My future mother-in-law lives in western Iowa,
Okay.
and we were visiting them. She had her 80th birthday
Oh.
over the summer, and I helped her out on some projects. I had to go to the hardware store, and the weird thing is about western Iowa is that it's almost like a Stephen King novel, where like you leave this small town, you
Uh-huh.
travel in any direction, 10
Yeah.
miles, and you come up to another small town that's
Yeah.
identical to the town you just left.
Yeah.
Right? It's got the feed store, it's got a hardware store, it's got some churches and other things like that, some restaurants. And then
Yes.
you go 10 miles in any direction, and there's another small town that's
Yeah.
exactly like the town that you just left.
Yeah.
And the cell
Yeah.
service is spotty. So
Yes.
so
Yes.
Western Iowa, it's pretty.
Uh-huh.
But it's a little weird.
Yeah.
I'm more of a
Yeah.
I'm more of a dazzling suburbanite
Yeah. Yeah.
myself.
Yeah, it's, there's actually so there's, like, a popular page called Iowa Chill, and that's a common joke, like, or meme is that when you're driving through a small town in Iowa, it looks exactly the same, and they actually post pictures of all the small towns looking exactly the same. So,
I mean,
yeah.
it's kind of idyllic in
Yeah.
a certain sense. If But I've always lived in cities and things like
Mhm.
that. Um, so yeah, so I guess the question is what are we gonna do for the next time?
So do you think
You
that people are gonna go for it next time? So I used to live in, Austin, Texas, and so we're just talking about cities. So I used to live there, and I moved back to Iowa in 2015. Now my brother lives outside of Austin, and I took my husband there in 2022, and right before the Comedy Mothership opened up, and it looked unrecognizable, the city, because of the COVID lockdowns, the COVID policies, everything was boarded up. I hear it's much better now than what it was in 2022 since the Comedy Mothership opened up and more things have opened up, but I could not believe walking down the street that I didn't down 6th Street, I'm like, "I know that this bar I used to go to is right there, but it doesn't nothing looks the same," and it was there. But I can't believe some of these cities, especially the cities that were really harsh on the COVID mandates. I can't believe they let that happen to themselves. Um, but do you think that people are going to like fall for it again, or do you think they'll push their representatives to fight for their people a little bit harder so that the lockdowns don't happen again like the way they did?
if human nature holds, right,
Mhm.
that people can be sheep, people wanna be told the truth, they will follow what they
Mhm.
think is reasonable, and there will be great coercion again. So will it be a pandemic? Perhaps. Maybe we would have some greater experience,
Mhm.
but it happened so quickly and everyone was so afraid, and that fear
Yeah.
campaign was just nonstop. We can't let, how would you feel if your child came home from school and got grandma sick and grandma died
Right.
because you didn't want, because you were selfish and you just wanted your child to go to school.
Mhm.
Um, with the amount of coercion that occurred,
Yeah.
I think it will happen again. I don't know what it would look like. Maybe not in my
Yeah.
lifetime. But there are so many. There's governments across the world that are coming up with shit in a lab that will
Yeah.
it's gonna knock out the whole damn world. I mean, it's like, hey, what do you got in that petri dish? Oh, I have bubonic plague.
Right.
Let's make it into an aerosol and drop it over, whatever, you know, and
Yeah.
I think it'll be maybe it'll be the exact same thing,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But if we don't remember all the ugliness,
Right.
like
Right.
I said, my father died during this time, and
Yeah.
he had COVID when he finally passed, so he died of COVID,
Did
and
he
that's what's on his death certificate.
it is that what he passed from? Or
No, that wasn't what actually killed him, but his lungs were shutting down.
yeah.
He had lung cancer and some other things.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, it was a sad chapter, but
Yeah.
it was just weird that I was writing this novel and all of a sudden this was happening, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't avoid it, you know? It's like
Yeah.
all of a sudden the car shows um
Yeah.
aren't scheduled anymore. So what's a gearhead and a pinup
Yeah.
doll to do? Wh-
Yeah.
how does romance stay alive?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to tell you about one of my sponsors real quick. Are you looking for a gift for a music lover, or maybe some apparel to show off your quirky side? Old Glory has you covered. With over 300,000 officially licensed items covering music, sports, entertainment, and pop culture, you're guaranteed to find the perfect item. They even have seasonal gear. My husband enjoys the Beatles and Led Zeppelin apparel, and I love the Billy Idol apparel. I even found items for my fellow plant enthusiasts. This family owned superstore is known for their quality and customer service, offers free standard shipping on all orders, and orders are shipped the same day you purchase. My discount code gives you 15% off your entire order, and it's currently the best deal available. Just visit oldglory.com and enter in my promo code JADE, that's JADE, at checkout.
I do want to ask you something though.
Uh,
Do you read romance novels?
I read, I guess I read Twilight, like every female. Um, and then I read a lot of Charlene Harris. She's the one who wrote the books that True Blood are based off of, and the books are obviously really different than the show, but she does have like some romance stuff intertwined in her books. But
I tried to find a romance podcast.
yeah,
And so I was listening, and, I don't read romance novels. I mean, I wrote
yeah,
a love story, but I don't. No, I'll read military history, right?
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Oh, I was trying to go through all the Jane Austen novels, and the damsel in distress is so weak, I just couldn't. I bought like a whole book with all of her novels in them, and they are like romance, old-timey stuff. I couldn't I haven't been able to finish because the main actor or the main characters are always very weak. And
well,
so
the stuff that's out there now,
yeah.
I kind of think that romance novels is like porn for women,
Yeah.
and how that's how they get excited. But it's like, so okay, there's going to be, so you write a romance novel that takes place in Victorian England
Uh-huh.
with transsexual um
Right.
vampires
Right.
who
Yeah.
can time travel, and they're having steamy sex all over the place, and here I
Yeah.
come with like this. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I don't I so
Yeah.
I wrote a love story, but it does not fit
Yeah.
square peg round hole. And I don't know if I'll ever write a,
Yeah.
another love story, and perhaps I would.
Yeah.
But my goal wasn't, hey, I'm just gonna, my sex scenes would
Mhm.
be like low heat, very low heat,
Yeah.
because my mother was my first editor. It's like, well, I can't,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
but I just
Yeah.
don't, so okay, so a gearhead and a pinup doll are making out in the back seat of
Yeah.
the muscle car,
Yeah.
okay, and that's
Yeah.
where I cut it off, because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna write boob, like, yeah,
Right.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
I
So it is the gearheads dating the pinup dolls? That's
Yes,
the yeah.
that is the essence of it, but
Yeah.
the chapters where there are car shows
Mhm.
are the very are the fun chapters, because I'm describing the cars, I'm describing
Yeah.
the outfits. I learned a
Yeah.
lot about how to accessorize.
Yeah.
I'm very good at that,
Yeah. Yeah.
So when my fiance is like, how does this look on me? Do these shoes look okay? Okay, well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you my honest opinion, but what you need to do is accessorize. What are you gonna, what jewelry are you gonna wear?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my Google searches are weird. Okay.
Oh. Oh, I bet. Yeah, just me doing this, it's like, this is kinda something weird to be looking up
Right.
sometimes, but
So, yeah, two young lovers just starting off, and then all of a
Mhm.
sudden the world stops. And
Yeah.
so the question is, will COVID kill a romance?
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds entertaining to me. What kind of cars do you put in the book? Or, like,
Okay.
all of them?
There's,
I don't know much about classic cars, but I like Bonnevilles. I like Pontiac. I went to a classic car show,
yeah,
uh, here in town, and there was a gorgeous black Bonneville that I really liked.
I, I
I'm
have,
really sad Pontiac's gone.
I have a list of cars and a list of of pinups. I know you can't read that, but
Oh,
yeah, there's a Pontiac GTO,
okay.
sure,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
so anything from a like Bel Airs, you'll see a lot of Bel Airs at it's got those big scalloped. How can I describe it? There are a lot of Bel Airs out there. You'll see them at a lot of car shows.
Okay.
Uh, a Chevy Nova, right?
Yeah.
You know
Yep.
about a Nova?
Yep.
Um, later on, one of the pinup dolls wants her pinup name to be Cherry Nova as a play
Oh,
as a play
yeah.
on words.
I like that. Yeah.
Um, but yes, I mentioned dozens of different cars,
Okay.
and um, m- men like to give female names to like bombers and ships and
Yeah.
cars and things like
Yeah.
that. So then you start to looking at how they would describe elements of the style and shape
Mhm.
of a classic car to, dare I say, the female form.
Right. Right.
Okay, I mean it's not a big leap.
Yeah.
And so at the
Yeah.
car shows, I'm describing the cars, I'm describing the people talking to each other, the fun
Mhm.
and the viciousness of the pinup dolls because they're competing,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so you're competing for. They might do like a stupid human trick thing where
Uh-huh.
you do a hula hoop contest or a talent show, but you're
Mhm.
being um, judged by the other pinups or a panel, uh, your outfit, and also what you're about and what you've done. Typically, they do some civic projects where they're
Okay.
donating to childhood cancer type of
Mhm.
thing, and then there is the best in show, right?
Yeah.
That is the crowd favorite. What's the best car here today?
Mhm.
Or best in show is also the queen of the car show. Do you have
Okay.
Sam? Do you own a tiara?
Uh, kind of.
What? What? What do you mean? Kind of. You have
Well,
one?
okay. I was just at the Renaissance Festival last weekend, and
All
I
right.
got one of those things, and the lady tied it in my hair kind of like a tiara. So not really, but kind of. I think I don't think I yeah, I don't think I have an actual tiara.
I
So
bet
I
that
need
there's.
to win a competition to earn a tiara.
Well, you can wear a tiara,
Uh-huh.
because you're not gonna have like the great big one that's like 5 inches off of your head. But
Right.
you could be a princess.
Yeah. Yeah. So they
I don't want to be a princess, but there
you
were
don't
guys.
oh, you don't wanna be a princess?
Well, there were men
Oh, really?
uh, that would go and they'd be in the pageant,
Mhm.
and there was one man who made it into my novel a few times,
Uh-huh.
and I felt so bad for him because we were out in the sun and he's not really mixing with people. You basically, it's
Yeah.
George Costanza in a dress,
Yeah.
and the guy's bald, and I'm like, isn't someone going to go up to that poor man and tell him that he needs to buy a pretty hat
Yeah.
because it's he's just gonna his head's gonna burn.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this
Huh.
guy has got the guts. You got to
Yeah.
respect one thing: if you're a man in a dress competing with women in dresses
Yeah.
to be the queen of the car show, if you got enough guts to do that, I might
Yeah.
not agree with whatever else you're doing in your life, but you got guts. I can
Yeah.
respect that.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, they down in Austin, they have a motorcycle rally. I think it's called Rot Rally. And when I lived there, I was just looking for random gigs and you can just go down there at a pretty lady can just go down there and get pictures taken with the motorcycles and you get paid like so much per picture and I'm guessing the ones dressed that look the nicest are the ones making the most money, but I didn't do it. So,
Well, it doesn't. There's an expense
mhm.
involved, as far as um, making. because you gotta have well, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, but makeup would be
Yeah.
a separate category.
Yeah.
And so ladies would, go to town as far as that was
Uh-huh.
concerned, best makeup.
Yeah.
They would go the night before and get their
Mhm.
faces done up. And do not try to kiss a pinup girl before the competition. She
Oh, I
won't.
bet not.
Don't get near me. You're gonna
Yeah.
do something bad. You're gonna smudge something. Stay
Yeah.
away. And then at the end of the day, how you ladies can wear the shoes that you wear on uneven ground, walking
Yeah.
around in grass and everything, and not fall down.
Yeah.
It's remarkable. And then at the end of the day, I described one of the women who wins Holly Hot Rod
Uh-huh.
wins the first pageant. I describe when she gets home, she's like a melted candle. You just gotta kind of
Oh.
have to peel the you gotta
Yeah.
peel the
Yeah.
because you've been outside in the sun all day. And
Right.
you don't want to drink and you don't want to eat.
Right. Yeah.
And you got the snarky ladies.
Yeah. I
It's
can
like
feel the pain.
it's
As
like
you're describing it, I can feel the pain.
where'd you get that handbag? Walmart, you know? That
Yeah. Yeah.
and but
Well,
there's
girls are so mean to me on TikTok for no reason. Like, it's like, "Oh my gosh, you guys are re" Yeah. Yep, I can just hear it.
right. So but I think that the whole COVID, a COVID love story,
Yeah.
I just want to keep pushing it because having these conversations, it's like you're asking the questions, or I'm asking the question, what are we going to hoard for next time?
Right. Right.
And if you say, well, there can't be a next time, okay,
Yeah.
because all
Yep.
the stupid got sucked out of the human existence.
Yeah. Yes. It's I oftentimes think of how quick these past, like, few years or, even this past decade have gone. I just think the world has gotten so crazy that it's you don't even know what to expect anymore. But
We came up with misinformation and disinformation,
mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And just trying to sort that out.
Yeah.
And now, if you weren't jaded,
Yeah.
I have a character called Serenity Jade.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she took that as a sort of having a soothing yet
It
strong
is.
presence. You're
That
just
is a
you're a
soothing name.
calming influence. That doesn't mean that you're not
Uh-huh.
vivacious. You're
Yeah.
just um kind of low key.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's probably gonna be my favorite character. Just 'cause of her name.
Maybe you'll start doing pinup.
Yeah. I wish.
I mean, if you like going to car shows, um,
Yeah. Have you heard of, the Surf Ballroom?
no.
The it's where Richie Valens, Buddy Holly, and the Big Bopper flew out of, um, and then they died
Oh,
in the plane. Okay. So it's in Clear Lake, Iowa, and, I used to I I've had a lot of jobs. The one I'm at, I've been there for 3 years, so but when you're in college and whatever, you work a lot of jobs. So I used to sell sweet corn, every summer. And my favorite place was in Clear Lake, and they had a car show that would just drive every Tuesday. They would drive by and stop and get, ice cream at this drive-through play or, a drive-in. It was one of we don't have very many drive-ins left, but they would all, like, park by our sweet corn truck, and I just chat with them and everything. So I always like to see how because I know they put a lot of work into those cars. So I like to see how they've customized them or hear about how they've remodeled them. And my brother-in-law, he does auto body. So he has a Model A and yeah, just something I don't know a lot about it, but it's interesting to me.
I'm not a gearhead either. I'm a carpenter by trade,
Mhm.
so I didn't describe the builds
Yeah.
themselves
Yeah.
because it would be kind of boring. But if you are going to buy, say, if you had to try to find the lens for the dome light
Mhm.
of a vehicle, I don't know if a Chevy Nova had a dome light in it, but that one little thing might cost you
Yes.
$150 to
Yeah.
put in your car. Well, a woman might spend $150 on a handbag,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
a guy might look at that and say, "Why are you wasting your money?" It's like,
Right. Right.
excuse me, you bought this, right,
Yeah.
for your baby that no one's ever
Yep.
going to care. So there are
Right.
so many similarities.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
think I'm really gonna like the book. What is your other book? Do you wanna talk about that one quick
sure.
for people to hear?
Here it is. Scoundrels in Iraq.
Nice.
I write a lot. I consider myself to be a feminist.
Uh-huh.
And so this is the woman with the purple finger.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I figured out the war in Iraq. I figured out the war in Iraq to my scoundrelly satisfaction.
Uh-huh.
I did some really, I'm not normal. I'm not a normal soldier. I was in
Okay.
the Army Reserve for 30 years and I did
Okay.
8 years active federal. So I
Okay.
started off as Private Kenny, ended up
Okay.
as Colonel Kenny. That's what I
Okay.
retired at. And I was in Iraq twice, in the beginning and at the end. And in
Okay.
between, I was training troops. So I lived the experience. I ended up having so much information in my head. But chapter 6 is called "Why I Stole a Bulldozer."
I have been wanting to know why you stole a bulldozer.
Allegedly, that's
Allegedly.
important.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Why?
If you did it, this was why.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. So
Yeah.
um, I was called to the head shed. Um, the operations officer said, "Hey, Kenny, how you doing? I got a
Mhm.
hot one for you." And apparently, he had pegged me for an officer that was ethically challenged, I guess you could say.
Okay.
That I would
Okay.
basically do anything. I don't really care. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm already in Iraq. What are you
Right.
gonna do? What are you
Right.
gonna do to me? How are you gonna make my life worse?
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
being, arrested, I suppose would be worse. But
Not
he
true.
said
Yeah.
there is a D9 high track in the Central Railroad Yard in Baghdad. Go get it. And it wasn't very far away. It was like maybe about a 15-minute drive. And what a
Mhm.
D9 is, it's a massive bulldozer. It weighs about 55 tons. It has a blade that's about 12 feet wide, 7 feet tall. It can really, really push, and it was up armored. In other words, you had ballistic glass that surrounded the cab,
Okay.
and the Israeli Defense Forces call it the teddy bear.
Okay.
Anyway, there was this teddy bear that was sitting in the railroad yard in Baghdad, and so this officer is asking me, "What do you think, Kenny, about going to go get it?"
Right.
So I asked a stupid question. I said, "Well, whose is it?" And he says, "Well, it says Caterpillar on it, so it was made in Southern Illinois. It's America's. Go get it."
Okay.
And I'm like, "Okay." And so what I figured out, Sam, is that if you're going to steal something,
Yeah.
if you do it in the middle of the day,
Oh,
if
they
it's
don't
a
suspect anything,
if
right?
it's 120 degrees outside, nobody cares what you're doing. And if you have a lot of rifles with you, that helps.
Yeah.
Um, and so we loaded it up
Mhm.
and we took it back to our maintenance shop. We it was an engineer battalion, a combat heavy, so we had all kinds of equipment from scrapers and cranes and bulldozers and earth moving
Uh-huh.
equipment. And so we hung about $30,000 of parts on it, and we got it up to technical inspection standards, and we just gave it to the Marine Corps
Yeah.
because they already had one. And the way I described it in my book is that this machine can it just goes through walls. Their
Okay.
construction is not very good over there. You can collapse a building easily
Oh,
with this thing.
yeah.
You just
Okay.
you just go around, you knock out the corners of the
Mhm.
building, the roof collapses and then you just drive over it. And
Yeah.
but at the same time, you've got ballistic glass all around you.
Okay.
So why I stole a bulldozer
Yeah.
is to save the lives of American Marines. That's the answer.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see where that would be very useful to
Yeah.
have that.
I don't know
So,
where it came from. I don't know why it was there.
yeah.
Why did Saddam Hussein have one there? But I did
Huh.
lots of, I did some scoundrelly things.
Yeah.
I had boxing matches. Um, there's a chapter, it's called a chapter called The White Don King of Baghdad.
Oh, yeah?
Do you know who Don King is? The,
I can't remember.
he was a boxing promoter
Oh, okay.
with the
Okay.
spike, with the spiky, uh, hair, the African American gentleman,
Okay. Okay.
big Trump guy.
Yeah. Okay.
So in short, um, I did some extracurricular type stuff, ethically challenged, I suppose you would say.
Yeah. We gotta keep yourself entertained.
Right. I describe it as being the second game of a doubleheader. The
Okay.
first game was the Gulf War in
Mhm.
1991, and then
Yeah.
by 2003, after 9/11,
Yeah.
um, that was like the second game of a doubleheader. And I was
Mhm.
there in the first inning and I was there in the ninth inning closing up shop.
Okay.
And in between, I trained troops. So I ended up
Okay.
having a pretty hefty understanding of the total history of it.
Yeah.
And it's a mixed bag as far as, you know, but the thing is, da 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 da, this is why
Oh, sorry.
I put this woman on the cover,
Yeah.
is that she's the woman with the purple finger, which means she voted. See, in
Mm.
2005, they had
Okay.
national elections for the first time in like 40 years,
Okay.
and so the uh, Shia women in particular, well, what they would
Uh-huh.
do is that if you voted, you had to dip your finger in purple ink, so you
Okay.
couldn't vote again. And
Makes
then,
sense.
as a matter of pride, they wouldn't wash the ink away because
Oh,
these women are saying, "I voted. I'm helping to determine my future."
yeah.
Right. And so, no matter what anybody says about Iraq and the aftermaths of the war and everything, there's plenty to good and bad.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, and that they actually have a fledgling democracy.
Mhm.
But holy smokes! I mean, what a concept! You go and vote, and you can only vote once. We could
Right.
could we do that here? Do the purple ink thing instead of like the little sticker.
Yeah. Yeah. That would
We're just too cool for school or something. I don't know.
I know. I know. Isn't it funny that I don't know. All these other countries do all these other things, but that's that's not how we're gonna do things here. Like, "Oh, it doesn't work." Well, it seems to be working for other people, so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was a mixed bag, and, I did a lot of,
Yeah.
odd things to
Yeah.
scratch the surface. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not like other people.
Yeah. No. That's alright. That's the best type of people, are the unique ones.
Yeah, normal is a setting on a washing machine. I would
Yes.
never want it to be described as that.
Yeah. Yeah. Is there
Oh.
anything else you wanna shout out at all? I will
Oh,
put
I encourage people to go to my YouTube channel.
Okay.
I've been doing, some comedic shorts.
Okay.
Um, I've been doing Kenikus.
Okay.
Japanese poetry is a haiku?
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
Kenikus.
I'm
And
excited to hear some.
I give dating advice.
Okay.
Um, I did a series about, Curious Carl and the man with the big yellow hat.
Okay.
Do you remember Curious George?
I do. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I called him Curious Carl, but the
Okay.
weird thing about that is that the man with the big yellow hat, in the very first story, he goes to Africa and he abducts George.
Right. Right.
It's like, are you trafficking in So
Yeah.
anyway, if you want like a quick, what the hell's this guy doing?
Yeah.
Because I'm not just like taking a short with my camera phone. Producer
Okay.
Paul and I are doing little scripts and actually shooting and editing and actually making something
Okay.
that looks
Yeah.
good. So
What's the
yeah,
name of your YouTube channel?
KennyDupar.com.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Well, KennyDupar.com is my website.
Uh,
So just Kenny Dupar
yeah.
YouTube, and I have an homage to Ozzy Osbourne. Is one of my Kenny
Oh,
Coos.
yeah. Yeah. I was sad about that and Hulk Hogan. It's a rough time.
Eh,
But,
Did you watch the Osbournes Want to Believe?
um,
The paranormal
the
thing with where they're looking at
uh-uh.
really on the Travel
No.
Channel.
No. No, I watched their reality show, but yeah, I didn't what's that about? The
Their son
travel channel?
Jack
Uh-huh.
became a paranormal investigator,
Okay.
and so he collected all this stuff, and then he would sit down with his parents and show them clips of all different kinds of weird stuff
Uh-huh.
and trying to get them to believe in UFOs or ghosts and things like that. So
Really?
Ozzy and Sharon are there with their
Uh-huh.
dogs and they
Yeah.
show the clip and then they discuss it. And, Ozzy is just like, oh, that's ball
Yeah.
lightning, you know?
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a
I'm glad you
pleasure.
reached out. It was been
Yeah.
lots of fun. We
Yes.
got we got to laugh at ourselves in the face of
Yeah.
tragedy.
And anytime you can add humor, that's what I like. I like laughing and making jokes and stuff like that. So it is nice to talk to somebody that you can do that with. So,
I learned as a child that sometimes you have to laugh just to keep from crying,
yeah. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
and when you're handling really um impactful subject matter like people dying,
Mhm.
you know, just
Yeah.
just to keep yourself in the conversation,
Yeah.
you have to kind of tease out the silliness that's going on,
Yeah. Yep.
just so that you can maintain your composure, I suppose.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
yeah, the whole COVID episode. Yeah,
It was wild. It was wild to say
yeah,
the least.
we got through it. I'm also going to
Alright.
send you some air fresheners
Sweet.
that I made. Yeah, one of them smells like Bondo. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, sounds
Always,
good.
always trust your storyteller. I would
Yeah.
never, ever say something that wasn't true.
Okay.
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 Thanks a lot, Sam.
Sounds good.
It's been a pleasure.
Yep. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Thanks. Bye bye.
Alright.